Good morning, everyone. This morning, I want to talk about reaching or hitting your edge and a little bit about what it means. Well, okay, let me get specific with you. So, so I'm on this journey, and what happens is when you live in a space of surrender, it means you're letting go of control. And everything that the identity, the ego is used to is controlling outcomes. So there's different stages where the letting go of control, I would be met with, something really beautiful. As soon as I did something that I've never done before, let's just say I caught a desire to want to, let's say, put my offerings out in a newsletter, right? Just to create some sort of momentum or some sort of to get a booking. And that was coming from fear. And part of my journey is knowing the difference when something is coming from fear, scarcity, and lack versus something coming from inspiration, passion, joy, etc. I am living and experimenting with only taking action from a space of joy, passion, inspiration, etc. So, anyways, having the desire when it's coming from fear because I'm realizing I don't have enough money, and then stopping myself and going, wait, what have I learned? I don't need to do that. I can trust, da da da. And then almost immediately something will come through to almost reward me. At least that's what it felt like. It was always a surprise, and it never quite comes in the way that I would imagine, but nonetheless, I recognize this pattern. So here I am now, 2 years into letting go of the apartment, which was one big, huge step of the journey. But it wasn't the beginning. The beginning was I started in June of 2022. Okay, so we're going on 4 years. What I've learned is now it's not about like this. The shiny rewards are less, and it's more about what'll show up in the middle of the night, just a slew of programming and restlessness and anxiousness. And I'm like, oh, right, this is the new layer of initiation. It's no longer, there's no longer do the thing, get rewarded in the external way. And I believe it's because as you move along on your spiritual path, you will continue to get initiated into new levels of understanding. And so, why I'm doing this, the whole reason I'm living in surrender, is because I just had a feeling, a knowing that there is an easier way to live that doesn't require hustle, it doesn't require, all the things that society has told us, because I've experienced this and because I understand that it's not really, the outside thing is never going to really fulfill us. It has to come from within. So I'm filling myself up within by seeing the old patterns and the old programming and not engaging, or at least attempting to, but it's a challenge. So this is why I believe the nothingness, the emptiness, the lots and tons of space is so triggering, because to the ego, it wants to fill space. It wants to be given tasks to do, right? So I can get tripped up because it's so sneaky and think, well, should I? I mean, it's not wrong if I did it or what, I can get a little bit like that. And this time around, I'm really, really, really certain that it's just the ego disguising itself as, an idea or passion. But I know the difference because it's coming from should. But it's taken me time to recognize it. So what I want to get clear on is, as you go along your path, when you commit to living differently, to being awake, to having awareness, to really wanting to live from a space of who you really are, there's going to be many times along the path where you're going to hit an edge and you're going to think, I can't do it anymore. Like, this is too much. I got to go out and, no, I'm going to go back to this other way, right? And that's where most people quit. And that's why for most people, like this isn't a journey for everyone. And this is why a lot of people just stay asleep, so to speak, or they just stay in the matrix, right? It's easier. But if you are somebody like me, if you have this pure desire of knowing deep within your soul that there is another way to live that excites you, that you know is easier than everybody else is telling you, then you're going to hit an edge and you're going to continue. You're not going to stop. You're going to see that it's your edge. You're going to feel the fear, of course. It's going to be scary. It's going to be hard. I'm recognizing right now, the past week, I've been hitting an edge because I'm getting to another layer because I keep waking up in the middle of the night with another slew of programming. And I just said to myself last night, I'm fine. Like, it's 3 a.m. You want to keep me up until the sun rises? I'm totally fine. But I am not going to believe this programming. I'm going to sit with the restlessness, the anxiousness of my body, and I'm going to take deep breaths, and and I'm fine. I'm totally fine with being here if you want to keep me awake with these thoughts. And I just kept doing that until I finally fell asleep. But it is a process and it is not easy. And I wanted to share this because I read something this morning that I thought, oh, this is exactly why, like, this is a piece of what I envisioned and why I believe the quiet and the nothingness is so important to this journey and so triggering, which is, and this is from A Course in Miracles. And it says, nothingness is the prerequisite for vision. Nothingness is the prerequisite for vision. So what does that mean? When I got on this journey a year ago, I heard this voice like, get off Instagram. Why? Because I knew that if I keep being inundated with what everybody else sees as success, how am I going to know what success really feels like for me when I just keep seeing the same vision or the same, Instagram version of success, right? So I'm like, get off, even though it made no sense. It made no sense because it's like I have a business. I was getting so many people DM me still from Instagram. And I was like, no, get off. Like, nothingness is the prerequisite for vision. You must empty out. You must empty out. That means letting go of the things that tether you to a conditioned view of happiness, of fulfillment. Because how would you know what feels good for you if you spend your whole life thinking and believing? It's like you buy into this belief that it's good for you. But how do you really know? You know when you let go of that and you spend a long time figuring it out, right? Figuring it out. What feels right for me? What do I like? What do I enjoy? That kind of stuff, right? So I realized for me, reading that was just beautiful because it really confirms and validates why being in nothingness is so triggering, because to the ego, it doesn't know what to do. It goes bananas and it just keeps throwing all this shit to you to get you to do something. I very purposely have not gone back to do the Emily in Paris walking tours. I just felt, I believe I'm done with that, and I want to just see what it's like to have my days to myself, to really just come from inspiration, like, let's just see what happens. But the mind is going, how are you going to get money? How this, how that, da 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 da, and it goes on and on and on and on. And I get it. These are all very valid questions, but I'm sticking to the same knowing I had when I looked at my skin and I saw those big red marks and I saw eczema for the second time. And I said, how do I know that looking at it and then also knowing it's okay, it's going to heal on its own? How do I know that? I just know, because I've been on this journey for almost 4 years, and I've experimented enough to know that my belief, my belief trumps everything. My belief trumps everything. And how do I get there? You get there when you get there. So if you are on this path and you're feeling like, I can't do this anymore, or it's too hard, or it doesn't work, la la la, let this be inspiration that you're hitting your edge, and continue on, continue on, continue on. Sending you guys so much love. Take care.